Hello everybody, have a happy new year, a great 2025. Hope nothing horrible happens this year. It's already happened, everything's already terrible, but it's okay. Because I am here for you with one of the laziest kind of videos everybody can make and everybody has made. This is a reaction video to the Rolling Stones Top 50 Greatest Video Games of All Time. Yes, one of those absolutely lazy kind of videos that I could have probably done as a stream, but I didn't because it's kind of hard to get like the proper amount of time of uninterrupted recording. It's a bit difficult to make. Also a bit difficult to make videos, proper videos, good videos these days, but maybe I'll have one up this year at least. Until then, let's go into this greatest video games of all time. Greatest 50 video games of all time. And there's been a bunch of these recently. I'm thinking of making one myself, just because it's not hard to do. Steven from the channel Steven Nonsense has reacted to a couple of them as well. I think he's going to make a live stream or has made a live stream with this one as well, depending on when this goes up. So let's dive right into it. From Super Mario to Grand Theft Auto, these are the titles that have defined the culture by Rolling Stones. Illustration by Shira Inbar. It's an okay illustration. There was a time when a great video game just needed to be fun. That is true. Well, not even fun. Just be something on a screen that goes bleep blop. Doesn't matter if it sucks. I mean, our lives were terrible. We would have taken any kind of thing to take our minds off it. Anything. Anything. Even Dark Souls. In the days before 4K screens and season passes, it was all that mattered. It didn't matter if the design was janky, true, if you could finish the whole thing in one sitting, and frankly, if it was way too hard, yeah. But things evolved. Over time, games became more layered. They could tell a story the length of a novel with the strength of a film. True, actually even more because, you know, there's the interactivity component, there's the you driving the narrative, unless the designer of the narrative is an idiot and made stuff like the No Russian level or most modern games. They could challenge the mind either with puzzles or at least the test of reflexes. Yes, that's true. Also a test of how much money you have, because that's how arcades worked. Most importantly, they could bring people together. In an online lobby, arcade, or just on the couch, gaming really tells the story of the people who play them. Okay, so far, this introduction is good. Hopefully it's not written by ChatGPT. Stephen has had some speculations that the last one he read, I don't remember by who it was made. Oh yeah, MSN. He had some speculations that some of the descriptions were written by ChatGPT. This one, I don't know. I mean, it's by Rolling Stone, so it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, the internet is dead, people. It's dead. It's just chatbots talking to each other for ads and your time. I'm probably a bot myself at this point. I don't even know if I'm alive. But getting back to this. But to pick the best games ever made, there's a lot of considerations. Gaming is a medium where sequels thrive. They can always look and play better. And while certain gaming dynasties run dozens of entries deep, there needs to be representation across the board. Okay. I like that. It's a good idea. So we're not going to get 5 Zeldas in the top 10. Today, everybody's a gamer, but there is not really, but they're not all playing the same thing. Correct. For this list, we looked at both how influential each game was at arrival, as well as whether it still holds up. A good game may be played, a good game may have played well, but a great one still does, or at least requires a lot of rejiggering to still get it to play properly. Or a remaster, or a community remake. These are the games that made the culture what it is today and will chart where it goes tomorrow. Okay, editor notes. The platforms listed for each game are the platforms for which they were individually available back then and may have changed since they were first released. Okay, so let's get to it. Number 50, Animal Crossing New Horizons. So this came out during the pandemic, as the article says. I've never played the Animal Crossing series, like, at all. I played Stardew Valley, which is trying to emulate this style of game. Is this one of the 50 best games? I don't know. According to the article, when the COVID pandemic hit, well, people were hopeless. Provided the game provided some counterbalance. 30 million people bought. Wow, that is a lot. Holy hell, that is a lot. Bringing in the new age of cozy games. Well, not really. I mean, Stardew Valley did that, honestly, before it. I mean, bringing in about the new age of cozy games. It did it quite well. And Animal Crossing is one of the originals. Really benefited from it. Would I put this in the top 50? Animal Crossing New Horizons arrived at a time when everybody was looking for the kinds of positive interactions it delivered. Whether it's talking to a level raccoon or telling your friends about it. It's written by Ashley Bardham. I don't know who that is. Hard to say. Is the new one gonna sell 40 million and be better? That's my question here. Is anybody gonna remember this when the new one comes out? I don't know. Next up, Hades. Have not yet played Hades, but yeah, Hades is, well, it's made by Supergiant Games. They've never made a bad game. Though people have not really liked Pyre that much, at least not as much as Bastion, man. Bastion! Oh god, Bastion was superb. Live, die, repeat. Video games have been boiled down to this simple premise, and no genre better simplifies it than the loop than roguelikes. Which typically allows the player to beat all the levels in one go or be kicked back to the start. Yeah. Is Hades one of the best 50 games ever made? I have not played it, so I don't know. It could be. I mean, Supergiant, yeah, I would say Supergiant definitely has a top 50 game in their library. Maybe it's Hades, otherwise it's Bastion. Transistor was fine. I like Transistor. Number 48, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Yeah, no argument here. Legend of Zelda. Here's the Zelda counter. Hopefully it will not go to 100. It can't. I mean, technically there should be just one. I mean, they said it was in the introduction that there won't be too many Zeldas in the game, in the top 50. But yeah, there's a Zelda counter. It's at 1. Hopefully it will not be exaggerated. So A Link to the Past was the SNES one, which had the dual worlds. That was a nice game. I played a bit of it. Quite nice. 46. Cancer itself. League of Legends. So League of Legends, I'm of twin minds on the subject of League of Legends. On the one hand, I've played so much of it. I hate how much I've played of it. Because fundamentally, what the game does best is make you into a worse human being. It makes you hate yourself, hate the world, hate everything. Hate the game even, because fundamentally it traps you in a 40-minute torture fest with people that may also hate you, and it just spirals out of control. It has negativity built into it. Truth be told, I've not actually played anything beyond the auto battler for the last 4 years, so maybe things have improved, but they hadn't improved up until then. So I'm not sure. But yeah, I would put it here because it is very influential. I mean, superbly influential. And the Arcane Netflix series, as the article says, is absolutely fantastic. I was shocked. I mean, they took Jinx, which was one of the worst characters in the game, like one of those oh, look at me, I'm like Harley Quinn, trash characters, and actually made a deep, superb character out of her. It was amazing. And season 2 just wrapped up, so go see it. It's superb. As for playing League of Legends, if you're gonna play it with bots. Bots are fine. This is one of the places where I'm okay with humans being replaced by AI. Just replace the players with bots. Just have no human teammates, no human opponents. It'll be fine. Absolutely fine. Number 45, Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite is gigantic right now. In terms of sheer heft, it is one of the greatest games currently on the market. Maybe in history, because yeah, it's It's gigantic. It cannot be overlooked. Number 44, Elden Ring. Still have not played it. I may get to it sometime soon. Is it one of the best games ever made? Well, it's popular, and I guess, I mean, maybe they took the lessons from Dark Souls and made a good one. Yeah. I'm joking. I mean, Dark Souls 3 at least is a very good game. If it had properly functioning save games, it would have been perfect. Number 43, Celeste. Not played. Maybe it's good. See, this is the problem with me reacting to these kinds of lists. I've really not played that many new games since 2017. I did put some effort into 2018, but not a lot. And after that, it was just downhill. Like, severely downhill. This is just old man ranting at clouds, and you're here to watch it. Number 42, Batman Arkham City. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it is a great game. Still not a fan of the combat system. I was into the combat system when Arkham Asylum came out. I thought it was fluid, it was actiony, it made you feel like Batman, but the later games never improved upon it. It just became Dance Dance Revolution, but worse. It became a Simon Says game, and basically every combat system for like a decade after it was just the same. It was annoying as hell compared to something like Oni's combat system, which I've seen on YouTube that people are trying to, actually remember now. They're coming around to it. They're appreciating it more. That's nice. People are appreciating Oni's combat system. Oni itself, I mean, apart from the combat system, it wasn't really much of a game. Sparse levels, the story was but it was really good at what it did best. The combat system. Batman Arkham City, yeah, it's fine. Number 41, Metroid Prime. Yes, absolutely. Metroid Prime is an excellent game. It's one of the best first-person experiences that's ever been put on a console. I've not finished Metroid Prime. I started it like 5 or 6 times. I keep forgetting that I have it installed somewhere on an emulator. Someday I will finish it. I guess, possibly, maybe. I think there's a remake or there's a remaster as well. There's a Switch remaster as well. But yeah, Metroid Prime, solid, absolute, yeah. I would put it in the list. 40, Chrono Trigger. Another game I never finished because I was playing it on a tablet and the tablet died. But I was fairly far into it. I restored the forest and I was going to do something else. But anyway, it's a good game. It's one of the few that use the JRPG combat system in an interesting way. You have combo attacks, which makes the repetitive combat less repetitive, more varied. It's a nice game. Yeah, solid choice for number 40. Also, Akira Toriyama was the graphics designer for it, and he passed away, I think, a year ago. So it's nice to see this up here. 39, God of War. I mean, yeah, the original may have been a trailblazer as the games. Well, was it really a trailblazer? I mean, it came out after Devil May Cry, not before it. And this one's more of it's more mature. It's about fatherhood and loss. And honestly, basically every cutscene in the game looked to me like it was just shot like those satire cutscenes from Saints Row 4. It just feels a bit like, we have a motion capture studio. Let's use it and show you that we have one. Never played it, so can't really say much about it. Shadow of the Colossus, yes. I played a bit of it. The emulation was not up to snuff when I tried it, so I didn't get too far into it. But yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is a fantastic game. It's what people often think about when they say work of art. And yeah, I agree with this. Also, making a bit of a pause here. Not really seeing any there's cancer here, but not really seeing many what you would call PC games so far in the list. Hopefully we'll get something like strategy-wise or maybe a Half-Life soon. Okay, next up, Pokemon Gold and Silver. Why this one and not the other repetitive ones that are all exactly the same? Is Pokemon a great game? I mean, it's a profitable game. It's a game that was really easy to indoctrinate kids into because of the cartoon and because none of them were really all that into Digimon. Digimon, by the way, much better cartoon. It ended like 50 years ago or something. It doesn't keep going on because it had a point to it. It had a plot. It had a beginning and an end. Also about 50 spin-offs, but those are spin-offs. Nobody cares about them. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I've actually seen, there's a funny thing actually going on. When Shadow of Mordor came out, a lot of people were really upset that you were enslaving the orcs and made them fight for you. Those people were highly outspoken Pokemon fans. Pokemon's the same goddamn thing. 36. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I had no idea this came out in 2018. The Super Smash Bros. Series, I've played it. I've played Melee. I wanted to play Brawl, but the emulation was not the stuff when I tried it, so it didn't really work that well. But I like the idea. It's a simplified tournament-style fighter, like an arena-style, fighting game. It's good. It's really good. Is this one better than Brawl? I mean, Brawl, when it came out with that anthem, that Latin-sounding anthem, that was like, it rivaled Halo 3's marketing campaign with how big it was. This one, I barely know it existed, but then again, I'm not really into the Nintendo thing, so maybe. Essentially, the apex of the concept. Well, yeah, I mean, they've said that the sequels tend to be, more polished, more refined. So yeah, I guess this one being the last one. Was it the last one? 7 years? Yeah, I guess it's the last one. It's, but is it one of the greatest games of all time? I mean, if you want to have some fighting games here, you could have Street Fighter, you could have Mortal Kombat. The Guilty Gears are great, but then again, this is not necessarily about the quality of the game. It's about the impact. It's about the gravitas. It's about the being a Nintendo game and everybody playing it, I guess. But Brawl then would have been better because Brawl was on the Wii and that sold like hundreds of millions, over 100 million at least. I'm a bit skeptical on this. Okay, moving on. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Yeah, a Sonic game. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Sonic had his time as a mascot and as a cultural phenomenon. Well, now he's still a cultural phenomenon with 3 movies that have racked up over $1 billion, and they weren't bad. Like the first one was unexpectedly not bad. I mean, they could have axed the girlfriend character because her sister just filled the role better. But anyway, apart from that, it was fine. Yeah, 35. Really, is this better than Cancer? Well, yeah, it's better than Cancer, but better than Metroid Prime? Better than... Really? Come on. I mean, really? Moving on. Hollow Knight. Well, I've not played Hollow Knight, to be honest. But yeah, people have kept telling me that it's a great game. And for the most part, it's been people that aren't assholes. So yeah, I guess it's probably a good game. Number 34? I'm not sure. Let's move on. NBA. Okay, this is unexpected. There has never been a sports game in any of these lists, like none. I don't think there's even been a racing game in any of these lists, ever. Why this one? Well, the series continues to be an annual release fixture, considers to be the pinnacle, arriving at a time before the endless microtransactions watered down experiences. Okay, so they really... Yeah, that's a good reason to have this specific one here. The reserves in this version adorn the image of Michael Jordan on multiple modes and box arts, using the universal visage of the best basketball player of all time as shorthand for the best basketball game ever. Just to put a pin in this, Michael Jordan never fought Godzilla, never dunked on Godzilla. Just to be clear, only one man did that ever. It was not Michael Jordan. Number 32, Miss Pac-Man. Why Miss Pac-Man and not just... Well, yeah, it's a sequel. It's more refined. So, yeah. Just like they say. I mean, this is the evolution of Pac-Man. So, yes. Without the initial one, would it have... It would not have existed. I mean, it's the same thing I've been talking about with Steven. Because he says that if you're going to have... In one of these things, if you're going to have a GTA game, have Vice City instead of 3. Because 3 is just Vice City, but with less stuff. But without 3, you would not have Vice City. Without the impact of 3, the innovation of 3, there would be nothing beyond it. I guess it works. Yeah, it's a superior to her puck-shaped male counterpart. Yeah, the game's better. Number 31, The Other Cancer. Counter-Strike, and it's the original one. Okay, the MSN top something or other had Counter-Strike Go or Counter-Strike 2. No, I think it was Go or 2. Counter-Strike was the game. It was the multiplayer game of its decade. I mean, Valve exists now because of Counter-Strike. Sure, Half-Life paid the bills, but Counter-Strike paid for the yachts. Steam still exists because of Counter-Strike. If Valve did not buy Counter-Strike, Steam would have absolutely died because nobody would have wanted to use it unless they were forced to, like they did with they forced everybody to use Steam for Counter-Strike. There's no getting around that. Also now it's being it's the primary way by which kids are being shuffled into online casinos, which is cool. 30, Wii Sports, yes. I absolutely agree with this. Wii Sports was a unifying force at a global level. Everybody was playing it. My dad played it, and he does not play games. We didn't even have a Wii. We went to a trade show. I was invited to a trade show because I used to work at a place a long time ago in 2008 that was at trade shows, and they had a Wii, and we played it, and he enjoyed it. Wish I could have afforded a Wii. I think I would have liked to play it like at home. But yeah, Wii Sports, absolutely superb. It is the motion control game. It's the motion control game that everybody tried to ape and nobody managed to. Sure, it wasn't accurate. It was flaily. It was the core idea of it just worked. It just like CC says, players of all ages, from kids to parents in the living room to packs of college students in dorms, spend their weekends howling at the screen at full attention, mastering game intricacies of perfect wrist flick to win. Nintendo always understood the art of simplicity that makes their games readily playable, but few games speak to the people of all generation and skill as artfully as Wii Sports. Yeah, this I am 100% in agreement with. I actually would have placed it higher. Consider that this game was often bundled with the Wii. Over 100 million people played it. Actually, let me rephrase that. Tens of millions of people bought the Wii just for this. The Wii sold because of this. This should have been higher. Number 29, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Yeah, Wii Sports should have been higher. Yeah, this is probably fine. I've never played the Uncharted series. It's more of a Tomb Raider kind of guy. Also, I didn't have a PlayStation, so I didn't care. 28, Minecraft. Yeah, Minecraft it's one of the big ones today. It's the Sims of its day. I mean, I'm curious if there even is a Sims in this list. But yeah, it's a Lego-like brick. You know Minecraft. Minecraft is gigantic now. There's a movie coming out. It's gonna suck. There's been like Netflix TV shows of choose your own adventure style affairs, and I don't know if those sucked. There's spin-off games. Some of them sucked. One of them was canceled. It was, what was it called? Minecraft World or something or other. That could have worked. Maybe they could have just postponed it a bit, but they canceled. The Witcher one was also canceled because it sucked. Like the Witcher Pokemon Go style game was god-awful. I played it. It was awful. It was designed to lure you into traffic and kill you. So maybe they didn't want to rack up fatalities, I guess. Number 27, Resident Evil 4. Well, the PC version shipped without mouse controls, but they fixed that later on in subsequent releases. So it was a turning point in the style of this kind of game, and turn it into more of an action affair than a horror affair. I mean, it still looked dreadful. It looked frightening in some aspects. It still had the survival horror elements, but so much more action. But it was still not yet at the level of punching out a giant boulder. Number 26, Go to Hell, I Hope You Stay There. 25, Stardew Valley. Yeah. See, they've put Stardew Valley higher than Animal Crossing. I would have put Stardew Valley instead of Animal Crossing and left it there. I mean, it's a superb game, don't get me wrong. It's superb, it's fantastic. 25 best games ever? I mean, hard to say. I mean, I still play it on occasion. So yeah, in terms of staying power, I'm still playing it now. Like, I played it this last week. Yeah, okay, maybe 25 is worth it. Number 24, The Sims. Yeah, The Sims great game, absolutely fantastic. And this was why PC gaming was still a thing for a while. This is why new people, why people who weren't me or people like me bought games on PC or bought PCs to play games. So people like me, you know people like me, right? People like me are the reason why games were the kind of games we had on PC were flight sims and mech sims and spreadsheet simulators. But this offered a breath of fresh air, an expansion on the idea of what you could do with a game. It was a digital dollhouse, and it was beautiful because you could do so much stuff with your Sims, like kill them in increasingly more horrifying ways. It was beautiful. Having the first one be here when the second one was a lot more refined and had many more options and many more expansions that added even more options kind of goes against what they were saying about the sequels being better. But I guess the series has kind of gone downhill actually because of all the expansions and the price gouging. But yeah, the first one absolutely good. The original life simulation games first saw the messianic following by bestowing players with strange omnipotence. Yeah. Earlier games like SimCity let you play God on a large scale. The Sims makes it all that much more personal by allowing people to manipulate lives on a much more intimate level. Oh, woohoo! We know that. It's a game defined by its quirks, eccentricities, like gibbering language. Oh, Simlish. I love Simlish. And the sexy Grim Reaper. I think you could get the Grim Reaper to dance. Let player indulge in their most wild of power fantasies. Oh yeah. If you're a control freak, if you're an absolutely toxic human being in real life that likes to manipulate people, this is what started it. This is why you are the way you are. They can control minuscule aspects of their custom characters' lives, like how often they pee. A lot of BDSM got started here. Seen the movie Secretariat? No, Secretary, pardon. That's a different movie. Secretariat is a different movie. There is no horse in Actually, I haven't seen Secretary in a long time. Maybe there's a horse. Go see Secretary. It's basically The Sims. Okay, moving on. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Okay, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is better. This one, best examples of intersection between games and culture. Take control of 10 real-life pro skateboarders like Chad Muska and Hawk himself, yeah. All the great... Yeah. Okay, it does have a banging good soundtrack, but at the same time, the second one was an improvement over it. So you're going against your own rules here a bit. But yeah, I approve a Tony Hawk game, one of the first two being here. Absolutely. Modern Warfare. Okay. I kind of agree with this. Maybe not have it be this high, but Modern Warfare was a bit of a breath of fresh air in the then stale first-person shooter war game that was mostly stuck in World War II. Now, okay, Battlefield 2 came out a year or two before it, and that was not that. It was more freedom-based. It didn't have single player, though. The one thing that I say is detrimental to the game is that it feels overly excited to move you from place to place. It's like a really excited child that wants to show you his newest toys and just takes you in a rush by the hand. And it's really, really excited to show you all the things it has. It doesn't really let you stay with them for too long, which is actually to its benefit because the sequels let you stay with them for longer and they did not really hold up if you stay with them for longer. So yeah. Modern Warfare was a really good balance of length, innovation, gameplay, and not overstaying its welcome. Second one was a pile crash. Let's be honest. Fallout 3. I won't tell you to go to hell because you're already there, but okay, I'm not a Fallout 3 hater. Like I thought it was okay for what it was trying to do. It wasn't fantastic, but it was okay. I wasn't in the, oh, it's Oblivion with Thor. No, it's Oblivion with guns. Brigade. Honestly, the reaction to the trailer, which was the intro to Fallout 3, made me swear off the Fallout community forever because based on just that radio coming to life, people were going insane. Oh, this is so unrealistic. How does it happen? Does this look like a sequel to Fallout 2? No, it's terrible. It's the Satan. It was just like the intro to Fallout 1 and 2. It was literally the intro to Fallout 1, but instead of taking place in a dilapidated building where a TV spontaneously comes to life, it was in a bus. Having it be up here, well, in terms of impact, it did bring Fallout back to life. I know some of my fellow jaded YouTubers are really against it and against Bethesda's take on Fallout. I'm also against Bethesda's take on Fallout recently, but Fallout 3 was not overly terrible. It had its issues, but it was, for the most part, okay for what it tried to be. Number 20, Mario Kart 64. We have a racing game here, actually. So is 64. I mean, I played 64, and it was fine. Is it better than the newer ones? Possibly. Personally, I would have put Mortal Kombat Kart here, which was in the either in Deception or Armageddon. I mean, a lot of people played it when they were kids. Probably people like HM who write for this magazine. But I wouldn't have put it here. I mean, especially... okay, this is an American publication. East of America or West of America, I mean, apart from Japan, I guess, this would have not cracked the top 200 because it wasn't in our culture, honestly. Number 19, Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, we've got a Baldur's Gate and an RPG and a PC game, all wrapped into number 19. Okay, have not played it. I'm hoping to get it someday and hopefully play it over the course of several years like I did with Divinity Original Sin 2, which I started in the video that's on the channel and finished it last year. I think the video came out in 2017 or 2018. Took me 6 years to play it. So look out for 2030 when I probably start playing Baldur's Gate 3, and 2050 when, if we're not all dead, I'll finish it. I'm guessing it's a good game. I mean, Larian improves. Well, for the most part. Divinity Original Sin 2 had some backtracking, I would say. They abandoned their take on the RPG where you would control one or two characters or more characters if you were playing with somebody, and you could argue with among yourselves with the BioWare approach of having characters, and they're the ones where they actually focus. And I'm not a fan of that, honestly. I'm more of a fan of I make my party, I make the rules, I drive the story. It's my adventure. Screw the rest. Okay. Number 18, NFL 2004. Again with a sports game. And yeah, this is very American-centric because nobody cares about this. Where's FIFA? Where's the goddamn FIFA game? Like, Madden, yeah, 70 million. Why this one? Just owner mode, taking back. I think this will, yeah, apart from owner mode, I think this may have been one of the final ones before 2K Games lost the actual the license, and then after this, EA just crank up the price because the way that they made 2K lose basically their money was by undercutting them on price and just having enough money to do that for a long time. And I think this is the last one where they actually tried to make a good game. I think Angry Joe says a video about it. I'm not sure if it's this one or some other one. But yeah, I've not put a Madden game in the top 100, let alone the top 50, let alone the top 20. That's just bad. 17, Diablo 2, and they're using a picture of Diablo 1. Bad show, chaps. Yeah, Diablo 2 absolutely guaranteed top 20 easily. In terms of PC games alone, I would have put it in the top 10, but this isn't just PC games, so number 17, yes. Wholeheartedly agree. So far, not even its developers, Blizzard, have been able to rekindle its series. Yeah, I played Diablo 3. Diablo 3, in my opinion, sucked balls. It was just badly thought out. And it's not because they didn't have ideas. They had them. They just chickened out. Like, at one point, they basically had Path of Exile's skill system. Not the giant passive wheel, but the gem system. That's what they sold Diablo 3 for years on. That was the core idea of the game. And then about 2 months before release, more than 2 months, I think it was 2 months before the 2 or 3 months before the public beta or demo, they decided to axe that in favor of shoving the gold real money, the real money auction house down everybody's throat to make more money. And that's what ruined Diablo 3. I don't care about 4. Like, the series doesn't exist anymore for me, honestly. 2 was fantastic. The remake of 2 is apparently superb, but I'm not gonna pay Blizzard money to have the same game that it should have made like a decade ago. Number 16, Red Dead Redemption 2. Not played it. I've seen some footage of it. I've seen some people play it. It seems to have the same mission structure as Grand Theft Auto 5, meaning that you have no agency in them. And it's mostly just you walking or riding or driving a carriage along a path while somebody talks at you. And that's just a bad way to make a game. That's the Ubisoft way of making a game. Honestly, it sold well, I guess. It's Oregon Trail and Grand Theft Auto series, and Red Dead Redemption demands your attention to its tiniest details. Maybe in the open world aspect, because that's really the core of the matter at Rockstar. They make fantastic open worlds and then handcuff you with a story that doesn't really use it at all. Ubisoft had the same problem with Far Cry 3. Far Cry 4 was vastly superior in that aspect that actually let you use the open world. Assassin's Creed 4 was absolutely destroyed by that aspect. The earlier ones, well, 2 and I think Brotherhood, I haven't really played much of the single player from 3 and Revelations, but 4 was really hampered by missions that did not even consider that you were in an open world game, like at all. That really sunk it metaphorically and, well, not financially because it went gangbusters. And this, from what I've seen, does more of the same, and that's a shame, honestly. That's not number 16 levels of open world goodness. You know what is top 10, or at least top 5, or maybe top 3? Deus 6 would be a good pick for that kind of design. So moving on, it's The Witcher Wild Hunt. Yeah, The Witcher Wild Hunt is a good game. It's a solid game. It's a gigantic game. It's honestly, I'm still shocked that Skellige was part of the base game. Skellige, it's just think about it. You have White Orchard where you start. That's the intro. That would be like the tanker demo if you're a Metal Gear Solid fan. Then you move on to the big map. And then at some point you realize, oh no, there's more map off screen and I can get there and play even more. And you realize that the game is just maybe too big. And then the expansions came out and you realized, oh my god, I will die before I finish it. I had more time at my disposal when I started playing this. It only took me about 3 years to finish it instead of 6. But still, man, I was not even close to doing everything in a game, or most things in a game. But it was, yeah, I agree. This is a good place for it. Better than Baldur's Gate 3 though? I don't know, maybe. More popular, I guess. Number 14, Street Fighter 2. Yeah, Street Fighter 2 is one of the quintessential fighting games of the genre. It's Street Fighter 2. I can't really say more about it. It's Street Fighter 2. It is what fighting games were for a long time. It's superb. 13, Doom. Yeah, Doom's okay. Doom's being here, okay. No complaints. It's a good place for it. 12. World of Warcraft. Yeah, World of Warcraft is still the reigning king of MMOs. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV is eating its lunch currently, or at least it was before Blizzard brought back Metzen and said, "Oh, we're doing the fight for Azeroth or something or other," and I don't know what they were doing, but it's when it came out, I was amazed by it. I mean, I was seeing screenshots of, I think this is a squirrel or a rabbit. There was a squirrel on a tree, a squirrel on. Who makes a game where there's like a gigantic MMO where the trees have squirrels on them? Blizzard, that's who. When I actually got to play it, it was kind of disappointing because I burned myself out on similar, much more badly made MMOs earlier in my life, and this wasn't really a huge improvement over those, to be honest. But just being in the World of Warcraft itself, like in the world of the Warcraft RTS games, was nice. The writing was terrible though. Voice acting, worse somehow. Number 11. Halo Combat Evolved. Yeah, Halo really, like, it changed console FPS games. It basically brought about the age of the Xbox and all the evils that came with it. So yeah, it deserves to be here, for better or worse. Number 10, Super Metroid. Okay, so we are doing more than one game from a series, aren't we? Yeah, Super Metroid is one of my all-time favorite games. It's fantastic. It's superb. The atmosphere that they managed to create in this one is just, it's perfect. This is masterclass in visual, audio, and gameplay design. I really have no comment on this other than praise, because yeah, games of every genre owe a depth to the fundamentals Super Metroid built. And although many have followed in its footsteps, the template it set remains perfect. Yeah, I agree, CC. I don't know who you are or if you're ChatGPT, but I agree. Number 9. Are we really going to do this? Skyrim. It's NPC dialogue inspired an online me. Oh yeah. So did all your base art belong to us. You don't see that game here. Yeah, so there's a game where you could go, it was sold as a game where you could anywhere. It was sold as a game where you could. Okay, this is not written by ChatGPT because that would have not made this mistake. Do anything, but the elevator page never quite does justice to the experience of accidentally stumbling across a sleeping dragon and dual-wielding arcane weapons for the fight of your life. It was superbly shallow, sadly. If the shallowness had not been so shallow, if every dungeon was not filled with the same draugrs, it would have been better. I did not play the expansion, I have to say, because I pumped like over 70 hours in the game not on 64. I finished it. The expansions came out a year or two later. I couldn't muster up the energy to restart everything because I didn't use Steam's cloud save. I don't even know if Steam had cloud saves back then because I used to shut off Steam to save on RAM. Also, I closed Internet Explorer to save on RAM because I was playing it on 1 gig of RAM. It was playable on 1 gig of RAM. Barely. I was scraping, effectively I was scraping every bit of RAM I could so it would actually load. But no, not number 9. Not number 9. Number 8, Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, I mean, it's a game that I really like. I only had the first CD for, I had the cracked version, the badly cracked version that only had copy protection for the first CD. I tried to crack it myself and I got it to ask me for CD 20 or CD whatever thing I typed into the hex editor, but I never got around the copy protection for CD 2 until I found a properly cracked version and played that one. But yeah, Final Fantasy, I enjoyed it a lot. it is one of the most transformative games of the PlayStation era. I mean, some would say that Final Fantasy VI was a better game, or at least a more ambitious game, and with the limitations that it had. But this one had like the freedom of this CD in 3D, and it did so many beautiful things, and it started that trend of Square Enix just making some incredibly looking cinematics that made for absolutely magnificent trailers and AMV videos set to Evanescence on YouTube. It defined an age. And yeah, this deserves to be in the top 10. Could have been 7. Yeah, moving on. Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid, absolutely agree. Like, this is also one of the most transformative games of the PlayStation era. It was a paradox, because currently, well, it is a paradox currently, but back then it wasn't. So currently you can have games that have amazing gameplay or good cinematics and dumb gameplay, or great gameplay, no cinematics, not so much in terms of story, or great cinematics but no gameplay. This had both, and it didn't overindulge in the cinematics. I've been playing Death Stranding for a year, and I want to strangle Kojima, or at least I want to handcuff him so he stops making cinematics and stops writing the story, or at least has someone slap him over the face and get him to actually tell the story properly, because there's a bunch of characters in Death Stranding that I'm getting missions from, but I've never met them. They've never been introduced to me. I saw the back of one guy in a shot at the beginning, and I thought I skipped the cinematic. But they're all just talking to me like they know me, but I've never met them. I only just met Guillermo del Toro. That's it. And this is from the era when Metal Gear wasn't that. And it was fantastic. In Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain continues to this day to be the greatest troll job in human history. Like, in terms of impact, in terms of trollness, 5's the best. It's just a troll move. A troll game. You've been gnomed. Trolled even. Number 6, Half-Life 2. There's a Half-Life, yeah. Half-Life is a great game. If you're watching Steven's stream after this, he's going to have some choice words for this. Absolutely. Half-Life 2, yeah. I agree. This is, like, in terms of the first-person shooter, this was one of the best-paced things out there. Just think about the not just paced, but designed. Think about the pick up the can moment. I think I made a video about that. The pick up the can moment. That's a multiple choice puzzle right there. That's multiple outcomes that all just show up naturally. There's no visible like pop-up that to do the right thing you have to put the can in there. To do the bad thing you have to hit them over the head. You can sneak around if you do this. No. It just plumped you there. It showed you how the mechanic worked, and then let you play it. It let you experience it, interact with it. It let you be free in this world, and it was amazing. And it's even more amazing that 20 years on, so few people design games this way. It's shockingly that this was so good back then. Number 5, The Last of Us. It's a cover shooter. The story was... It was the same story, honestly, for the most part, as Telltale's The Walking Dead. And that... I gave The Walking Dead a 10 out of 10 when I reviewed it, because it was incredibly effective for what it tried to do. Like, incredibly effective. It tried to do something very specific, and it succeeded. Maybe this one also succeeded, but it's a cover shooter, so I don't really care. Number 4, Super Mario World. See, now they're putting a sequel over the original. But yeah, Super Mario World is is a great game. It's fantastic. It brought Yoshi. Like, I saw this dinosaur on so many magazines that I couldn't afford to buy, because growing up in Eastern Europe in the 90s was it was poverty, unless your parents were torturing people for the government and killing them. But yeah, I've played this on many emulators since then. It's a wonderful game. It's childhood nostalgia that I never had because I didn't play it when I was a kid. It was more of a longing. It was more of an aspiration for me to one day play it. And yeah, I would say it is one of the best games ever made. Should have been number 4. Hey, we're still at only one Zelda. So yeah, I'm okay with it being number 4. Grand Theft Auto 5. No. Well, okay, in terms of greatness, in terms of impact, yeah, GTA Online is a juggernaut that will destroy Rockstar eventually. I think if you see my video about Grand Theft Auto 6, you know that I believe that GTA Online will kill that game as well. That it's going to be geared towards its own online game, and the single player will suffer because of it. And in terms of greatness, yeah, I guess you could put it that way. I mean, Cortez was great. He did a lot of bad things. Stalin was great for what he did. Not saying what he did was good, but yeah. Okay, I get it. Sure. Grand Theft Auto 5, but its open world was superb. The missions were they were bad missions. Really badly designed missions. Like, it was effectively it was the opposite of the pick up the can thing, which is ironic because Grand Theft Auto 3 basically had every mission be the pick up the can thing, where you had the freedom to decide how you would complete levels. Number 2, Tetris. Yeah. No, absolutely no remarks here. Tetris is one of the great unifiers. It and Wii Sports were one of the great unifiers of humanity. If the last one's going to be Ocarina of Time, I am going to do something very, very unpleasant. Okay. Not Ocarina of Time. I am in shock. There was no Ocarina of Time in this article. It was a Link to the Past and Breath of the Wild. No, my God. I think Rolling Stones just pissed off every Zelda fanboy there is. I don't say fanboy, to be demeaning, but most people would say that Ocarina of Time is the best. Maybe recency bias influenced them, but 2017. Wow, that's 8 years ago. My God, where did my life go? Where's my hair? It's Gmod mixed with an open world game where you hunt bosses. It sounds nice, but really, best game ever. Really. Where's Deus Ex, motherfuckers? Where's Master of Orion? I mean, you had SimCity. I'll give you that. You had SimCity there. But like Civilization or a StarCraft, maybe. How about Microsoft Flight Simulator? Because that is also one of the great unifiers because everybody wants to fly a plane and see their house. What about Kerbal Space Program? I mean, the sequel imploded. But the original is still one of the best games ever made. Man. Gotta say, this list was, in some ways, yeah, I knew what to expect because they were eventually going to cram in some stuff like this or this was unexpected. Okay, this was unexpected. The sports things were unexpected. But seeing, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was expected. This was also unexpected, to be honest. Okay, so there are some things that were unexpected. This one, yeah, I was sure they were going to cram this in because, oh no, the Suicide Mission, which they lifted verbatim from Anachronox. But there are some bits of this that I agree with. I mean, if you would have put Breath of the Wild here and Wii Sports on top, I would have been mostly okay with this list. I wouldn't call it terrible. I mean, it's made by Americans, and Americans in PC games or Americans in games that require anything other than screaming at kids is maybe not like something you should expect, but it's motivating me even more to make my own list. This year I'm going to make the 101 best PC games list. It's going to be, well, no matter how I make it, it's going to be clickbaity as hell. Because that's how these lists work. That's why you make one of these lists, to attract attention. Even if you don't mean to be provocative, even if you don't mean to be toxic or not toxic, but what's the word? Not subversive. Provocatorian. Even if you have good intentions, you're gonna piss somebody off. Like, guaranteed. It's inevitable, because those kind of lists just exist to piss people off, to attract attention in that way, to elicit reactions. That's why the lists exist. There is no other reason why you would rank things like this in such a weird way. There's no meaning to this. How are you going to rank, I don't know, Alpha Centauri? Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri is the best Civilization game. How are you going to rank it compared to, let's say, Deus Ex? Which one of them is better? Because they're both mastercrafts of their genre, of their time. Hell, they're mastercrafts of any time. There is no ranking them. There is no scoring them. All scores or rankings are just a con to get you to react, to get you to click on the link, to get you to see the ads, which I disabled because I'm a bastard. That's all there is to it. And I'm gonna contribute to that noise, that absolute trash, with my own 101 list. And again, this is coming from somebody who made that documentary series where I rank. Well, I didn't rank. I said what was the game of the year for that year. Like, what was the most influential game? Not which one was the best, though. Not which one was the greatest, but which one had the most impact that year. I may at some point make an 11-hour cut of that series. It's about 11 hours long. I'm going to need to re-record some stuff and maybe fix the errors I had in some episodes. Kind of glanced over some absolutely tragic world events that should have been highlighted then. That maybe didn't influence video games, but influenced the world at large. Like that earthquake in China that killed a couple of 100,000 people that I just forgot about. But that's going to be a year-long or multi-year long process of making, unless I skimp on it and make it shorter than 11 hours. I mean, nobody's going to watch it, but if you see an 11-hour gaming documentary, you're going to click on it. That's the other thing that's going on with these kind of videos. The longer you make it, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. The longer you make it, the more people will at least start to watch it because they're just curious. It's like watching a train wreck in progress. You have to look. You have to see the carnage, even if it's carnage and you shouldn't. Well, that'll be it. This site also has the top 200 or something music albums of the last decade, which I won't go into because I have a very, very limited selection of musical choices, most of them being Zdobshi Zdub, Nightwish, and a bunch of other bands that you probably never heard of unless you're into, symphonic metal bands from Denmark, Sweden, Italy, or Romania, or pop folk music from Moldova. Well, I'll see you again with more shows. Maybe it's going to be that list, that inflammatory list that's going to probably give me death threats. But hey, if it didn't, then how would I know I'm interacting with people and not AIs? Keep human, everybody. Keep as human as possible in these trying times, which some may call the end times. And for some it is. Take care. Be good to each other. Goodbye.